Alright, hello my friends, and welcome back to another Brotato class guide. This time we're covering the one everyone's been waiting for. It's the streamer. I want to shout out channel viewers Wangs and Stefan Klein who requested the streamer. If there's another character you want to see me cover, let me know. I'm very open to suggestions. So, the streamer is pretty complicated, so I'm going to take a second to talk about how it works before we get into it. If you want to just jump ahead to the gameplay, of course, that will start in a couple minutes, but I think it's worth understanding the mechanics of this character. As you can see, it has a lot of text before we start playing. So how the streamer works is every second while you're standing still, you get 3% of your currently held materials. All of these except for the first one are rounded down. So from 0 to 66 held materials, you're going to be getting 1 per second as long as you remain still. From 67 to 99, you'll be getting 2 a second. From 100 to 133, you'll be getting 3 a second, and so on, up to a maximum of at 834 held materials, you'll be getting 25 materials per second every second you stand still. So you've really mastered passive income like a TikTok finance guru. This huge advantage comes with some correspondingly large disadvantages. You get 50% fewer materials dropped from enemies, and it's important to notice that your passive material gain does not give you experience, so you're going to be leveling half as fast as other characters. You may have mastered passive income, but we haven't mastered leveling up. While we're moving, so when we're not gaining the money, we get 40% bonus damage and 40% attack speed. But this is counteracted because for every 15 materials we have in our inventory, we lose 1% damage, and for every 30% materials we have in our inventory, we lose 1% speed. 30 materials we have in our inventory, we lose 1% speed. Of these two things, I think the speed is actually the bigger disadvantage. The damage you can kind of compensate for by buying items, and of course you get bonus damage and attack speed while moving, so you can mitigate the nerf to your damage based on your held materials through that, but the speed can cause it to be really difficult to dodge elites especially, but also just standard enemies. So what that means is that we're going to need to boost our speed to make up for this difference and carefully manage how many materials we have in our inventory in order to manage that. You also get 2 armor for every structure you have on the field, so the streamer does kind of naturally lend itself to an engineering build. You get 2 armor for every structure, the minus damage doesn't affect your structures, but the minus speed is such a huge penalty for the engineering builds that I have actually found them much harder to work with than weapon builds for this character. I think there's kind of 3 natural builds you can go. 1 is engineering, like I just talked about. 2 is slingshots, because slingshot is an extremely efficient weapon. It will clear the waves while you're standing still very well, and it's going to give you a ton of HP from the primitive weapon tag. I'm a little tired of slingshot being the answer to every single character, though, and I actually think there's a couple small downsides of slingshot that make me favor a different build. So the build that I'm going to go with is the SMG. I think that the way the streamer plays out, you want to be able to kill elites instantly so that you don't have to dodge them, and as you kill them really quickly, you can then focus on gaining your passive material income. So let's get into it, and we're going to grab the submachine gun and get started with... Alright, so notice that as we are standing still, we are gaining 1 every second. If we could get to 67, then we'd be gaining 2 every second. You have to remain motionless an entire second. With about 5 seconds remaining, I'm going to start moving to pick up materials. Here I am actually going to lock this turret because it's basically the same as just buying 2 armor. But I'm going to re-roll looking for more submachine guns. We'll buy this one and roll. Nothing here. I'll roll again. Nothing here. So unfortunately, we won't be able to get a 4th gun, but we are able to just pick up the turret, and the turret will actually help with wave clear at this point. So we've got 2 guns and 1 turret locked. We can go on into the next wave. So unlike the soldier, we can't just tap our movement keys because we have to stay still in order for the passive income to start ticking. Again, with about 5 seconds remaining, I'm just going to go make sure that I'm picking up as much as I can. I didn't realize there was a tree down there, or I'd have started moving just a little bit earlier to make sure we actually killed the tree. Here we'll go with flat-ranged damage. That's the most important thing when you're using submachine guns. They scale super well with flat-ranged damage. I would take either of these items, but I don't think it's important enough to lock them. I really just want to roll into more weapons, which we did, but again, can't quite afford it. That said, I'll buy another turret. So we actually have 4 armor just because we bought these turrets, so that's an incredibly efficient way to purchase armor on this character. And also, this early in the game, it's going to help kill enemies reasonably effectively, these turrets. One downside of the submachine gun build, as opposed to other builds, is that the floater enemies, the ones that start spawning in this wave, gain additional projectiles. They fire a projectile every time you hit them with a ranged attack, and that can really force you to move, which we don't love doing. Here I'm going to grab some harvesting, and we'll grab our submachine gun. I'm not going to lock the gambling token. Again, it would be really good, but I really just want to roll for more damage, more weapons. I will, on the other hand, lock, I guess actually this whole shop. More armor is really good, and we really need speed. Actually, at this point, I'm not going to lock the metal plate. I am going to lock the beanie because speed is critical on this character, and the lemonade will still be really good healing for us, so we'll grab that. It's okay to tank a couple hits in order to just maintain your passive income. Sometimes the ranged enemies will sit just outside of your range, and that can be really annoying. There, I took a couple hits, but I knew that there were some consumables on the ground. And so then we are able to move. Now we have 67 in our inventory, so we're gaining 2 every second. I'm gonna go up here and kill the tree right before the end of the wave. Make sure we're killing everything. And we're up to 100. I'm gonna take another point in ranged damage, and here I'll take a little bit of maximum HP. I am actually going to just lock everything here, the submachine gun and these 3, and then just go straight into wave 5 with 100 in the bank. Because we've found 2 points in ranged damage already, our 5 weapons will be sufficient for wave clear. We also have pretty good armor. So being able to start wave 5 with 3 passive income is going to really help us out. Usually, I think you're fine just going into planning to have 100 for wave 6, but if you get some early damage and so on, then you can work with 100 for wave 5, and that's really good. If we start moving, we get bonus damage and attack speed, which is awesome because it lets us kill loot aliens really fast, and then we can stop, start ticking for 7, now we're ticking for 8, and so on. It's okay not to pick everything up at this point because pulling stuff in, because we're gaining passive income as well, and we will get this next wave. Alright, so Baby Gecko is an item of special note for this character. Every material that we pull in that we wouldn't have been able to pick up otherwise will start generating passive income for us. With 294, I'm going to buy the submachine gun, and I'll buy these 2, and then I'm going to throw in one... Oh, actually, another item that's worth noting is landmines. Landmines count as structures, so as long as the enemies aren't triggering them, you're going to be generating 2 armor every time the landmine spawns, so it can actually stack up quite a bit of armor over the course of the wave. So I think it's actually really worth buying landmines. Even with an item locked, though, I'm going to throw in one reroll here because I think we are mostly just looking for additional weapons. We're guaranteed to see 1 weapon in the wave 5 shop, so the chances of us seeing a submachine gun were pretty good. Didn't see a submachine gun, but did see another weapon we really want, so we will lock the sharp bullet, or another item we really want, and go in with 6 passive income ticking. Managing your greed versus your ability to clear waves is the key to this character, so it's important to just build damage. You can still build economy, but you don't need to the way other characters do, because you have so much built-in economy. We are going to have to reposition, thanks to the projectile spewing aliens. Reposition back down the middle here. With 500 in the bank, we're gaining 15 materials every second, although notice how much we're slowing down as a result of that. But because we have such excellent wave clear thanks to the early ranged damage we picked up, we're able to get up to 600 materials in the bank by the end of wave 7, which is awesome. Let me grab just some more ranged damage, and then here we'll just take some attack speed. We're pretty much building mono damage at this point. I will take the landmines, the sharp bullet, and the fertilizer. Engineering is actually kind of interesting for this character, so it only cost me 9 points to get 1 engineering. Normally I wouldn't do this, but we actually have 2 turrets and a landmines already, and because it gives us a free reroll, it is actually kind of nice to buy this book. So I'm going to spend 9 on it. This also gives me 1 extra tier 1 item in case we roll a fairy later, which isn't like totally irrelevant. So we're going to grab that. I don't think you usually want to buy engineering on this version of the character, but this particular build, it's going to be good. Here I am going to buy the duct tape, the speed, and the pumpkin. We already have sharp bullet, so increasing our piercing damage is going to be really powerful, and I'll roll once more. Going to upgrade my SMG. Now the question is, do I want to try to get really greedy and sit on 300 for this wave? Do I think I have the wave clear to get away with 300? I think I actually do. So I'm going to lock these two and go on into the next wave, starting ticking for 9 right away. Wave 7's pretty interesting for this character because of the egg aliens. So depending on how your damage is looking, you may want to clear the eggs because when they hatch, they're going to force you to move anyways. So you might want to go out of your way to try to clear the egg aliens. Our damage is actually pretty solid at this stage, so I think we're generating a little additional cash by clearing them, and we can use our bonuses for movement to kill them faster. Here we are just going to sit still and tick for 22 materials per second, and then I just have to survive the last 5 seconds of this wave. The greed is definitely real here. So you could definitely be, you know, we might have wanted to just go with 200, but, you know, never let it be said that I am not going to lean into this character's abilities. All right, I will take the acid here. Max HP is one of the things that we are currently missing, and I don't actually want either of these 2 level 3s right now. I think we can do better. Nothing here. I'll roll again. Little unlucky, but we will take 8% damage. Increasing our percent damage is going to increase our damage more than any other stat that we can increase because it's the lowest of our damage stats currently, so percent damage as the lowest stat is going to benefit the most from a linear increase. I'll take lure and I'll take head injury and I'll roll again, upgrade my SMG, and it's really great to find some lifesteal here. Lifesteal is the healing stat of choice for this character. Roll again, upgrade the SMG, buy some luck, roll once more. We're getting a lot of really nice tier 1 items because our luck is still 0, or our luck was highly negative, so we weren't rolling tier 2 items, but that's okay actually. Like, some tier 1 items can be really good. I'm going to buy all of these, and I'm going to sit on 334, so that should be 10 per second going into wave 8. Something that's really useful to do on this character as well is look at where your elites are. This character is going to struggle most with elites out of any challenge. Gonna use my damage buff from movement to clear that loot alien. We did take a little bit of extra damage here, unfortunately. I didn't intend to take that 1 hit from the charger. Sometimes the chargers will charge past you if you're remaining motionless, so it's worth keeping an eye on where they're going and deciding whether you actually have to dodge them or not. I'm gonna reposition to another location where we can start having our income tick a little higher. It's okay to reposition and then just take like 1 or 2 income ticks. Our actual income is so high from the passive right now that even 1 second's worth is worth a ton of money. We're up to 800 money by wave 8. I'll take the baby gecko. That's awesome. Take some ranged damage. Also awesome. Butterfly is perfect. We want lifesteal. We want luck. Let's roll some more. I will take the incendiary turret. Again, it's just some additional engineering. Weird Ghost, additional armor. Weird Ghost is worth talking about on this character. I think it's an item to avoid because it's going to force you to move since you'll have 1 HP at the start of the wave, you're going to have to dodge. So I think it is better to avoid this item. Let's roll again. Triangle of Power, again, I just don't think this is a very strong item, so I tend to avoid it on most characters. Let's buy some luck. Roll again. Alright, well, this is perfect. Finn is probably the single best item to find for this character, because speed and lifesteal are the two of the most critical stats. Speed is the most critical stat for the streamer, and lifesteal is how you intend to sustain, so Finn is the ideal item to find. I'm going to buy that, and then I think we can get away with trying to bank from 400 this level. So, no, I think that's too greedy. I think typically 300 is a good spot to start waves at. It's going to do the least amount of forcing you to move. So I'm going to just combine these two, go up to another level 2 SMG, lock this one, and then go on in with 300 in the bank. Especially because this wave we should generate a decent amount of money as long as we're killing the enemies. Even with 50% fewer materials dropped, wave 9 is kind of the farming wave. Let me take a second here, just pick up all this stuff. Go break this tree. And now we're ticking for 21 per second. Once we are ticking for 25 per second, you want to stop picking up materials as much as you can during the wave until like the end of the wave, because you can't gain additional income, but you can continue to decrease your speed and damage. Let's try to kill this loot alien. We actually got it. I'm a little surprised by that. I love how much money this character generates. It's so much fun. Alright, wave 9, we have 1,280 in the bank. I'm going to continue to increase, or I'm going to start increasing our crit chance here. I think that is one of the better ways to increase our damage at this point. Injection, also really good. I do now need to start picking up some maximum HP, but we can do that. As long as we get that before wave 11, we should be okay. Combine and buy this SMG. We'll not take defective steroids, even though we need max HP. It's really a problem to decrease our damage output. I will take the blindfold, of course. Let's roll again. Upgrade our submachine gun here. So, an item that I think is really worth talking about on this character is the padding. You might think, hey, we're going to have tons of materials in the bank, and so padding is going to give us a ton of max HP over the course of the run. And you're right. And here I'm going to take it because we have Finn and a couple other items increasing our speed. But many times I think it is worth passing on padding, even for the streamer, because it's just such a bad item. Losing 5% speed is really, really bad. That said, we desperately need maximum HP. Our speed is quite boosted already, so the 5% speed loss isn't as big a penalty as it would be sometimes. So I think we can get away with taking one padding here. I will also take the metal detector just for the luck mostly, but it usually ends up being pretty good. Let's keep rolling. I could actually take a level 3 shotgun here and just go with that as another weapon. I think that's actually pretty good. I want to increase my damage, and another weapon upgrade will help out with that a lot. We'll grab some armor. I'm pretty liberal at this point with what I'm buying because rerolls get really expensive, so you just want to kind of spend your money. I'm gonna buy this tree, buy the terrified onion, buy a little more lifesteal, and I'll do one more reroll here. Gambling token I'll lock, and we'll buy the cake. So the padding is currently giving us 6 maximum HP for minus 5% speed. So you can see that even on the streamer, it's not a very efficient item. That said, I think it is worth it just because we were so desperate for max HP at the point where I bought it. Remaining motionless. If you watched my most recent potato challenge video for yet another zombie survivors, which I know not many people did, but for those of you who are some real fans, you'll have seen me try to avoid moving for the beginning of that and encounter some difficulties. We're up to 25 per second, so I'm gonna wander over here. Keep gaining my 25 per second. See, that charger went right past me. So you can see that does happen. Oh, I walked into that one. Have to start moving for the end of this wave. So basically you want to use movement in order to mitigate any problems that you're facing. Here I'm going to grab some attack speed. I would actually love all of these, especially ranged damage and speed. But attack speed is the thing that's going to increase my overall damage the most because it's only at 5% right now. Torture is kind of interesting for this character. So right now we have 9% lifesteal. Is gaining 4 health per second better than that? I'm not actually sure that it is. On the other hand, it does increase our max HP quite a lot. I think because this will just solve our healing problems for the most part, I'm going to buy it, although you could certainly make the argument that because we've already boosted our lifesteal significantly, it's not worth the purchase here. I think overall it's going to end up being worth it, though. I also want to note that Piggy Bank is a particularly good item on this character. Normally I don't think this is going to pay for itself too frequently, but because this character always wants to start with money in the bank, you can go with the Piggy Bank. Take the duct tape as well, roll again. Our range is fine, or I would take glasses. It is sometimes worth buying range because you want to stay still so often. And sniper gun. I don't want to buy the snail because decreasing our speed is, again, such a huge penalty. Is sniper gun going to do anything particularly good? It attacks for 41 every 2 seconds. I think this is just like way less damage than our basic machine guns, so I'm not going to buy the sniper gun. I will buy the lure, even though we're going into a horde wave. I think that's okay. I'll buy the coffee. That's great. Wheelbarrow, also good even at wave 10. Baby gecko here. Let's roll again. I'll buy the lumberjack shirt, sure. And another incendiary turret. Lumberjack shirt will combo if we happen to roll into Pocket Factory. And I'm rolling down below 300 here because I want to spend out most of my money because we're going into a horde wave. So we want to not have huge move speed penalties going into a horde wave. This is more important if you're going into an elite wave, but I think it's really worth paying attention to. Here I am going to combine and buy another submachine gun, and I will not lock the mouse because we generate 50% fewer materials from enemies, so increased enemies is less valuable to us than for other people, and we took the torture so we can no longer heal using lifesteal. If we still could use the lifesteal, then I would definitely lock for the mouse. Alright, so here we have only 30 in the bank, so notice that we are quite fast and do a ton of damage. Something that's kind of worth paying attention to, I think, with the streamer is you could just play it as just a normal character. With a 40%, with a worse shop, but a 40% attack and damage buff. Attack speed and damage buff. Looks like I probably didn't need to spend everything out. The horde is not currently causing too many problems for me. I am going to make use of our buff to clear that loot alien, though. So I probably could have gotten away with trying to build some passive income this wave, but better safe than sorry. I like how when you have late game submachine guns, the game's sound just turns to constant ticking rather than actually playing the sound file. Alright, I will take this damage, that's good. I will not take the sad tomato because we can't use the health life regen anyways. I'll take the coupon, of course, and we'll take 12% damage here. Here I am going to just re-roll this. We wouldn't mind 3% speed, but I think we can do better. Sure, I'll take 8% more damage. Again, just increasing our percentage damage is the thing that's going to increase our overall DPS the most. And grab this dangerous bunny so we can take our free re-roll. And lock the second dangerous bunny, but I want to... Actually, we've got a piggy bank, so if I buy this, I can re-roll, lock this SMG, lock this medical turret, both because it gives us armor and because it heals us, and we will gain some money from our piggy bank, so we'll still be over 300 at the beginning of this wave. So that's why piggy bank synergizes so well with this character. Streamer is the most searched character on YouTube after the one-armed. For good reason. I think this character is very hard and kind of low tier, but it's my favorite character because of how much money you get to make, and I just love stacking up cash. Continuing to just gain 25 every second here. The thing that we probably need the most at this point is actually like the baby with a beard or some form of ricocheting shot. I have to remember that I don't have access to any burst healing because we have the torture, so we only get 4 per second, which is obviously a lot of healing, but I can't make use of consumables or something to heal back to full quickly. Here I am. Our armor's pretty good. I think I'm just going to reroll this one. Our range is really good. Honestly, most of my stats are good. I'll take max HP because some of our current max HP is fake from the padding. Let's combine and just buy out all of these. It's great to get additional armor from structures, and we can take our reroll here. Let's grab this tree, and I will continue to buy armor. More armor never hurts. Reroll it again. Terrified Onion. As always, we want to increase our speed on this character as much as we can. We actually have, how many baby geckos? 4. So almost every material should be zipped to us, so we don't actually need pickup range, especially because I can't use consumables at all. Here I am going to grab the pumpkin, grab the small magazine, roll again. Oh wow, okay, we got the minigun. So the minigun is interesting. It's basically a big submachine gun. It fires every 20 times a second, basically. And the submachine gun fires 10 times a second. So it's slightly better damage, but not actually significantly better damage than the submachine gun. That said, it's fun. You don't usually get to use it. I will buy it next wave because I don't want to spend out all of my money this wave, but I will do a little bit more re-rolling. I'll take the recycling machine just because I do want to spend some money here. Max HP capped at 70. Is that worth it? I think 70 will see us through, so I will buy the handcuffs. Oh, it actually caps at 68. Okay, so I should have bought those in the other order. Also, I should have bought the handcuffs, then the recycling machine. And I didn't realize that it would decrease my max HP from the padding before instituting the cap. 70 is kind of the minimum of what you want. 68 we should still be okay with, but it does put us in a little more danger than I needed to. With 250 in the bank, the 20% from the piggy bank should get us right to 300 exactly at the start. I will say this is a slightly odd version of the streamer build because we got torture and a few other things. So we're not building lifesteal the same way we would be normally. We got a ton of early armor from our structures. So a couple things went a little differently than you would expect them to. That said, if you apply the principles that I'm talking about here, you should have no trouble with this character, I think. The main thing is you really just want to buy damage in the early waves, and then use that damage to allow you to clear through later waves, and elites and so on. I'd love to see Pocket Factory. Pocket Factory is a really fun item for this character, because every turret you generate gives you 2 armor, so you can stack up tons of armor over the course of the wave. Jetpack is great. We would love to start boosting our dodge, especially because I'm max HP capped, and 15% speed is exactly what this character needs. I'll take the lure, of course, and I am going to, like I said, we'll buy the minigun, although it's not going to be significantly better than the 2 submachine guns, but it is still a slight upgrade, I think. We do lose a little bit of speed buying those 2 items, but I think it's still worth it. I'll still buy the fin here because 10% speed is amazing, even if we don't use the lifesteal anymore. Leather vest, basically ideal for every character, but especially for what we need right now. And I'm going to buy out the banner and another incendiary turret. This is an elite wave, so I'm going to try to spend down to 0 in my inventory. Normally I would buy the butterfly here, but we don't want that. Let's roll again. I will just buy the submachine gun here. I think we are safe to buy a bait going into this elite wave. Our damage should be really solid at this point, so I'm going to do that. Although if you were a little more worried about your damage, you could avoid buying the bait. Just lock it until the next round. I'm spending down to 0 because then we don't have move speed or damage penalties and should be able to assassinate this elite really quickly. Look how fast we move, just because I've been buying so much damage, or so much move speed. So we take out the elite super fast, and can now start holding still and building back up our bank. Gonna check the DPS on the minigun at the end of this wave as well. See if it's outperforming the submachine guns. A level 4 minigun is pretty fun though. I think a level 3 minigun might actually not have been worth taking at all. Obviously it's really good with lifesteal, but given that we weren't using lifesteal at the point where we saw it. Just holding still to continue to generate my passive income here. I will scoop up all these materials before the end of the level. And let's see what legendary we get. Alright, well first we take a little bit of armor for sure. Engineering for minus damage. Even though we have a ton of structures, I think our damage, it's way more important that we keep our damage high. And we got a regeneration potion, which I'm going to recycle. Unfortunately, that doesn't do anything for us at all. I'll take +3 armor though. Take some dodge. At this point, I will take the Gentle Alien, because 5% damage is great. And it means that even if we aren't holding a bunch of money in our inventory, our max HP will still reach its cap. For the same reason as before, I'm not going to take the snail, though. And I will grab this Cyclops worm. Upgrade to a level 4 shotgun, because why not? Do I want the metal detector? I think we're going to pass on metal detector at this point. It's worse for this character than it is for other characters. Our luck is never going to be positive, and also we don't use consumable healing at all anymore anyways. So increasing our luck isn't that relevant. And it's worse, the double value of materials is worse because we drop half as many materials. Let's roll again, though, and see if there's anything else we want. Something that's actually worth considering here is the Scared Sausage, because we have so many structures. We have mines, we have turret. These incendiary turrets won't apply the Scared Sausage, but we have a laser turret and a bunch of other turrets. I think I'm actually going to grab it. I think that will actually be kind of useful for this character. And it's fun getting to kind of backdoor into an elemental build as well. Our flat elemental damage isn't bad just because of the types of items that we've picked up. Continuing to hold still here. Now we're generating 25 per second. Our damage is going to decrease over time as we continue to generate this income, so you'll see enemies are starting to get pretty close to you. Another thing to, another type of enemy to have kind of special care for is these tentacles. They are much less threatening for us than for most characters because they only ever attack beside you. I don't actually, why am I picking this stuff up? They only ever attack beside you, so if you're not moving, they can never hurt you. I'll recycle this tomato here, and I'll just buy some more damage. I am going to, at this point, if we didn't have our HP capped, I might grab the padding, but we're not going, because our speed is actually really good, but I'm not going to, because obviously our HP is capped, so increasing max HP doesn't do anything for us. Let's roll again, and sure, I'll take a tree and a laser turret. Keep on rolling. Ranged damage seems good to me. We'll grab all of that we can. I'm actually going to grab the glasses as well, just because I want to spend a lot of money this wave. So we've just got so much in the inventory. Let's grab this bag, grab this head injury. 40% attack speed while standing still is excellent for this character. So Statue is even though it decreases your speed, I think still worth taking on the streamer. I am going to need to find additional ways to increase my speed, though. Barricade, on the other hand, is just a trash item. You shouldn't ever take it. I suppose it's worth recycling and buying the level 2 submachine gun, in part because we're more likely to see more level 2 submachine guns at this point, so it'll make it a little easier to level up. Tentacle is nice if we needed the healing. As is, I'm still going to buy it just because getting some additional crit chance I think will help out quite a bit. This is one of the other ways that you can generate a lot of healing on this character, because you do want to build crit chance. Let's roll again, and yeah, sure, I'll take the robot arm. We don't care about this health at all. And I'm going to wait to do that, though, until next wave, so that we can continue to generate passive income in this wave, since it's not an elite wave. Ricochet, Baby with a Beard, any of those would be really awesome for this character who just needs a little wave clear. Obviously, more dodge and more armor. We can't increase our HP anymore, but more dodge, more armor will increase our effective HP. And more damage would be excellent. Normally, at this point, we would expect that our lifesteal would be pretty good, and so we would just be looking for defensive stats. So we're not too far off where you'd expect to be, but the Torture that we bought does change how we're doing our healing setup a little bit. At this point, we are so far ahead of the economy curve that we just clear things even with these enormous penalties to our damage, which is awesome. Just remain completely motionless the whole wave. I'll take this because, again, we're going to be decreasing our currently held materials. I'm not actually sure how much the padding is contributing to our max HP, so I need to just grab a little bit of that and make sure that we are staying at the maximum of 68 as much as we can. I'm just going to buy this whole shop, actually, because it gets me a free reroll, which is nice. I do desperately need more speed, but Warrior Helmet's 3 armor is probably still good. Actually, we can't get max HP at all, so I'm going to skip the Warrior Helmet. Our armor is really good. And in fact, I'm going to keep buying Engineering, because we have kind of come the sneaky way around and backdoored into an Engineering and Elemental damage build, which is pretty fun. So I'll lean into that. Again, I think we're safe to buy bait going into the Elite Wave. Let's keep rolling. I will buy this metal. I'm not going to buy the toolbox, though, even though we do have an Engineering sub-theme, just because attack speed is so important to our damage. I'll buy this. Alien Eye is pretty bad for this character because you decrease your percentage damage, which is the only thing that increases the damage of Alien Eyes, other than your max HP. And of course, for this character, our HP is locked. Stone Skin, similarly, would normally be excellent, but for this particular version, we can't use it. Let's keep on rolling. I want to go down to 0 again for the Elite Wave. Community Support is this character's unlock item and is really good for every character. Not particularly notable for the streamer, like it's not that much better for the streamer than any other character, but is still pretty good. We'll just buy all this, throw in one more reroll. Sure, I'll take the hunting trophy, and then we will go to wave 17. I appreciate how zippy we are. Look how, look how quickly we kill stuff. And 2, look how much of a contrast there is between when we have all of the money in our inventory and are moving around really slow, and when we can just zoom around with 0 in the bank. I will say I don't really understand the flavor of this character, because if a streamer stops moving, they don't make money, they lose their job immediately. Because if you ever stop posting on Twitch or YouTube or whatever, then everyone forgets you exist instantly. So the people who make a living out of this have to continuously produce. Whereas, so for this character, I think this is more like the investor or the banker would make more sense as a as a flavor for this character. Again, we get to recycle the regeneration potion. Pretty unlucky on the level 4 drops that we've gotten from this. I'm going to still recycle the pencil. The engineering sub-theme is fun, but not at the expense of our actual damage. Garden is really nice for this character because it gives you armor and healing, so even though we can't get the healing, we can still get the armor from it. We actually have 42 armor thanks to our number of structures. I'll grab the hunting trophy, great item for this character. Bandana is great as well for every ranged character. And actually I will take Ugly Tooth at this point. We have enough structures that I think that will kind of be nice. And then here I'll lock this gambling token and not lock the missile. Actually I will lock missile just because percent damage is so important to this character. Gonna get a little greedy and go in with 400 in the bank instead of 300. Because I think our damage is pretty good at this point. I will say the easiest clear with Streamer is probably the Slingshot build, but I find this build more fun, and I really like killing elites. The Slingshot build will sometimes just have to dodge elites, and the submachine gun build gets to just always kill elites. If you're really struggling with the Streamer, another thing that is definitely worth doing is re-rolling until you don't have a level 11 elite, because that's what usually is going to kill this character. Never move, gain 25 per second. Over 2,000 materials. Let's make sure I'm grabbing a screenshot of that for the Oh, alright. I don't know why that didn't work. Anyways, for the YouTube thumbnail. And I'll take this adrenaline. And some crit chance would not go amiss here. So, another thing that's worth mentioning, I'm not going to buy it this time, but on this character, I think this is the only character that you want to decrease the number of enemies that spawn on. Maybe the Saver as well, but because you get 50% fewer material drops from enemies. Oh hey, we got another minigun. Sure, I guess I'll replace this with the level 3 minigun. Because you get 50% fewer material drops from enemies, you are going to not generate a ton of your money from enemies, and it all comes from your passive. So decreasing the amount of enemies that spawn can actually be pretty relevant for this character. Something to keep in mind. Normally I suggest always avoiding those items, but on this character specifically, it can be doable. Improved tools, sure. We have the sub-theme of engineering, and in fact I'll keep buying books just because they're so cheap. Ooh, another level 4 minigun? Do I want to sell something for this? I think not. I'm not going to worry about that. If it was a more unique weapon, then maybe I would. Although, adding another heavy weapon would be pretty good. So, yeah, maybe I'll lock this and we'll sell the level 3 SMG for it. Just because adding another heavy weapon increases our damage by 5% as well. Minigun is not to be confused with the chain gun or the Gatling laser, which are incredibly powerful. The minigun is only okay. Still, it's doing well for us, so I shouldn't shit-talk it too much, but it's not usually, like, meaningfully better than just another submachine gun would be. Killed a loot alien there. Actually took some damage, because my damage is significantly lowered right now. 2284 in the bank. I'm going to recycle this and I'll recycle this, and I'll recycle this. I'll buy this, though. Here I am going to grab some dodge, because upping our dodge near the cap will be really nice. Let's recycle this and buy the minigun. And I'm going to spend down to 0 for the boss wave so that we can kill them almost instantly. 3% crit chance for 100. Yeah, that seems okay. I will roll past all this stuff and this stuff. Some more damage, crit chance, sure. Crit chance. Damage, attack speed. You get to just buy everything at the end, which is really fun. Ranged damage. Keep re-rolling. Sure, more enemy spawns, more attack speed, landmines. None of these we need. Keep rolling. None of these we need, so we'll keep rolling, and I'll grab this banner. Alright, so here's our final stat setup. It is pretty nice, I would say. And we can go into wave 20. Line up the enemies so our piercing damage helps us kill them, and if we continue to move, we get bonus damage and attack speed from our movement, and we can kill them almost instantly. Alright, well that was a pretty long one, but I think the streamer is worth talking about. So, as always, my friends, I hope you've really enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed making it. The streamer is, I think, one of the most fun classes, but also one of the worst. So, hopefully this build helps you guys grab the wins that you've been looking for. And as always, if you've enjoyed my videos, please feel free to leave a comment. Like the video, it helps a lot with the algorithm, and subscribe to my channel for more of this and other strategy game content. Cheers, folks. GG.